There we go. We're recording. I'm not blinding you.
No.
So. Alright, so. Go ahead and say your story about your doggy and everything.
Alright, well, my name's Doc Zuzu. I'm a military vet. I've been homeless, chronically homeless off and on for 25 years. It kind of started off when I was in the Army. I was getting towards the end of my tour, and my sergeant major beat the crap out of me. I filed assault charges on him, and at the time I didn't know how the old boys club worked. And turned the officers and NCOs turned on me like a pack of wolves. They planted a bunch of stolen material in my room, and accused me of a burglary on post, and told me if I didn't sign this paper to get out of the Army, they would court-martial me, and I served 20 years in Fort Leavenworth.
Wow.
Plus, they told me up to 6 months to a year past my date I was supposed to get out normally, so they can kick me out. So instead, I signed this paperwork, got out of the Army. They held me 29 days past my ETS date so they could kick me out.
Oh, that's horrible.
And then, so I didn't really think I qualified for any benefits, but I've been pretty much chronically homeless pretty much since. This is 1983, but except for about 5 years when I was doing, working 3 jobs at once, and
it's
on top
hard
of that, take care of paraplegic.
It's hard to get a place nowadays,
especially first month's rent, last month's rent deposit, and subsidized housing, affordable housing has waiting lists, 2-3 years long.
Yeah, we're actually on that right now. It's a 3-year wait.
The rapid rehousing program through the VA supposedly can take 90 days.
Wow.
And I didn't even think I qualified for this until I ran into an outreach worker. They told me as long as I didn't have a dishonorable discharge, which I would have to actually go through the court-martial to get, that I would qualify for the program. So right now I'm on the waiting list for the waiting list, pretty much.
Yeah.
And it's probably one of them things where the VA has 2 different waiting lists.
Probably. So what's your story about your puppy?
Oh, she was arrested. I was driving down the road in Southern California. I saw these people pull over the side of the road and throw her out and take off.
What?
And I had just lost my job at the camp host. I had an RV at the time. And I slammed on the brakes. Everything went flying out of my cabinets and stuff like that. And
I think we did the same thing.
Out with some ham and said, "Your name's Chica." We've been best friends ever since. But before her, I had a poodle that was with me for 12 years.
Aww.
And I worked, did home health care for this lady that bred poodles, and she just kind of picked me from day one, decided I was her new human the minute she laid eyes on me and stuff like that. And so I worked for her for a couple of years, and then pretty much did some extra work, pay for her, and we've been, when she passed on, it really, I ripped my heart out. And it was like a couple of years. At first, I thought of replacing her was like an insult to her memory.
Oh yeah.
And then I finally found myself ready for a new dog. I started looking on Craigslist, Want Ads, and everybody wanted a portion for little lap dogs. And I'm not a religious person. I call myself spiritual more than religious.
Same here.
And I put it up to God, the universe, or whatever you want to call it.
Fate.
And I said, I'm ready for a new dog in my life. I was specific about wanting a little lap dog, one where cute costumes like my poodle did. And at this time I wanted one lower maintenance. And not even a week later, I lost my job, and I'm driving down the road, started being tossed out of the vehicle.
Yes, sir.
But I scooped her up. We've been best friends ever since. She puts on cute little outfits and poses for pictures for people.
Aww.
Check, I got one on here.
She's all nice and warm. Aww, that's adorable. Aren't you a cutie?
Everywhere we go, she quickly becomes a local celebrity. The Starbucks we go to every morning. All the locals come in every day just to see what Chica's wearing.
Oh my goodness! Well, I'm glad she's nice and safe, and that you have her protected.
Chihuahuas hate cold, because she's inside my coat now. I'm taking this off so I don't drop it in the mud.
Oh, that's fine.
But
do you know how old she is?
She's about 6 or 7. When I took her, had her fixed, it was about 6 months after I got her. The vet said always say that she's a young adult, so I feel she's about a year too old.
Yeah.
And I've had her for a little over 5 years now, so she's probably 6 or 7.
Okay. You got a long life ahead of you, sweetheart.
Oh yeah.
You guys could live
really
to be 20.
You can tell a lot by Chihuahuas too. When their ears are up and forward like that, they're totally content and happy.
Oh yeah. Well, she's nice
like a lot of Chihuahuas would be.
She's nice and warm and looking at you like, Dad.
Daddy, it's past my bedtime. Yeah, she loves bedtime.
That's awesome.
Like her two favorite places in the world is morning coffee at Starbucks and bedtime. Because Starbucks, you know, she's getting blanket snuggles. So I wrap her in blankets and put her cute little outfits on her and stuff like that. And all the regulars at Starbucks love her.
How old is she?
She's about 6 or 7.
She's a sweetheart. Yeah, we saved a cat in Texas. Our neighbors, he didn't fix his feral cat, so she had litter among litter among litter. And the last one, she couldn't nurse him. So this little kitten that was no bigger than about, like, from my phone to my hand, that big, she was pretty unhealthy and really sickly and had fleas all over her. And I was joking around with my husband about, hey, you know, I'd love to save her, you know. And it was about the time, year long coming up, that we lost our son. So I was really depressed and really sad. And he's like, well, honey, if that makes you happy, then let's do it. And I'm like, really? So we went and spent the rest of our money and got her and got all her stuff and all that. And his parents wouldn't let us stay in the house with him. And I'm bullheaded, so I'm like, all right, I'll go live in the car. Our vehicle. Yeah, I walked out and I'm like, all right, I'll live in the vehicle. In Texas, 100-degree weather, humidity, horrible. I'm an Oregonian.
I don't like that word Texas for one reason.
Why is that?
Because my recent ex is from there. She's from Odessa, Texas.
Your exes live in Texas?
No, my recent ex,
Yeah.
he's from Odessa, Texas.
My husband's from Killeen. I lived in Killeen for 5 months and got out of there.
It happens to be, my ex's name is Odessa.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. But so we got her and I started living out of the car. I'm like, screw this, I'm gonna go live in the car. And I did that, and we lived in the car for a week straight, got some money, and came back to Oregon.
I think
It sucked.
rescue animals are better pets.
Oh yeah, she
Because,
loves us.
I think deep down they know you saved them from a worse fate.
Yeah.
And
I don't know if I can
especially-
live in a car for a week because I gotta have a shower every day.
Oh yeah.
I can live in a car for a week. It's a roof over my head and a place
Yep.
to lock my gear up.
Yep.
You still need a shower?
Well, I hate to say it, when we drove back, I went 2 weeks without a shower.
See
Okay.
what?
I went 2 weeks without a shower because we
Well,
lived in the car.
I bet you felt miserable.
Rain does a good job.
Yeah, I always carry baby wipes. Take
Yeah.
baby wipe baths. A lot of
Now, how's
times in
this
the
work?
bathroom of a coffee shop or somewhere
it's
else,
just
I'll go in there. I'll
straight
take a
up
quick
button.
sponge bath in the sink. And
Yeah,
stuff like that,
Oh, that's
with paper
weird.
towels.
I've never, my mom, my dad always had
figured
money,
that it's got the
and
rain
when I met
flaps
my
and she keeps it
husband,
dry.
I never really lived without anything, and lately we've been living without
Water
anything.
resistant, really, but it'll keep it dry
So
long enough.
I learned.
that's for sure.
If I get out there and apply a sign and panhandle every day, about once a week, I usually make enough to survive and about 10 bucks over for my daily expenses. And about once a week, I get a room at Motel 6 and I
Nice.
get a hot bath because that's the only thing that works for my back when it hurts.
Yeah, I watched you walk in there. You're holding your back.
Yeah, my back,
I
my lower
do
hip.
that with my
My lower
sciatica.
back and my hip. I used to think my hip was sciatic.
Yeah.
And a lot of times it would start hurting independently on my back.
Weird.
And like my back's feeling just fine, but my hips and my legs killing me. And I found out that it's arthritis in my hip joint.
Oh
And
no.
I had one doctor said I should have hip replacement surgery, but my Obamacare doesn't cover it. And also too, I've got no place to
Rest.
recuperate
Yeah.
while I'm healing.
Yeah. I don't know.
But he pretty much told me get used to it. I'm stuck with it for life.
My lower back, I have a pinched nerve, and it's fusing and it's bulging on that nerve. And my hip is 3 inches out. So
Part of the reason
I
why it's
have
so
bad
is
pain.
carrying all this gear around.
Yeah, how heavy is that thing?
Probably between this one and that one, they're probably about 70, 75 pounds.
You just...
But it's on. I rigged it up onto a dolly so it pulls behind me.
Oh, good. Yeah, I was wondering about that. I looked at my husband, I'm like, is that a backpack thing?
There's a backpack rigged onto one of the folding dollies.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's but it's still a lot of weight.
Yeah.
It usually pulls on my shoulders when I pull it behind
Oh, I
me.
bet.
But most of the stuff I need to survive. I can't. People always constantly give me dog food too.
Oh, yeah.
And I have so much dog food, I end up leaving it at the bus stop or giving it away or whatever else because people think you're homeless, your dog's going hungry.
No,
And
the
she only
dog
weighs
eats
5
before
pounds,
anything.
And a 5-pound bag of dog food lasted her almost 3 months.
Oh yeah, one thing that I know is I've talked to a lot of homeless folks in Sweet Home, and they all have animals, and I'll tell you, their animals eat better than them.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, if it ever comes down to it, she eats before I do. But
Yep.
every time I go to eat, like at McDonald's or whatever else like that, I always split my food with her. But like one of her favorites is fried chicken. Like we go to the grocery store, we get fried chicken.
She's
from
like,
the
"Oh,
grocery
fried
store. It's
chicken!
like,
I heard fried chicken.
it's
I heard
about
fried
half
chicken."
the price of KFC and much better quality.
Oh yeah.
Well, that like if you get KFC, you like get a chicken breast. You're only getting a rib portion. They cut the tenderloin, the strip out to make the chicken strips out of. But you go to the grocery store and you get the whole breast, the tenderloin, and everything.
Oh yeah.
See, me, on the other hand, I have to, because I got seriously heart problems.
Oh no.
I got COPD and asthma. I got an inhaler. I even got a new inhaler. I just got out of the hospital. I showed him, and I have to, because I got my records and everything right here.
Yeah.
I take 11 different medications.
Wow.
You know, especially heart ones. Toprol, nitro, lisinopril, pravastatin, omeprazole, naproxen,
Naproxen.
Naproxen, the same thing as the lead.
Oh.
Prescription.
I've heard of it. I think my husband takes naproxen for his back.
That's what I do because
real warm.
I take that a lot because one of them lasts 12 hours versus I take them twice a day, once in the morning, once in the evening.
I hate taking medication.
So do I.
I tried. I talked to my doctor. And I'm like, oh, pot's legal. I'm going to try to do this now. I tried it and I got messed up.
Well,
I don't like it.
Most of my medical problems have gone untreated over the past 20 years because when you're homeless, you spend a lot of time transient because of police harassment and stuff like that.
Really?
And then before the Obamacare started happening, you can get insurance in some counties, but not in others. Like one city you can get
really
like in Medi-Cal is what it's called in California. You get Medi-Cal in one county, but then another one, and the only way you get Medi-Cal is to have a disability. But then the thing is, proving that I've been trying. This is the 5th time in the past 16 years I've applied for SSI. But it's such a long process to get it. I get halfway through the month because it's like catch-22. Without work, you can't pay rent. You can't pay rent. You don't have an address. Social Security will only notify of your appointments by mail.
You can get to Ben pretty
really.
easy.
So I get about halfway through the process, and I lose my place to live. And then I miss the appointment, and therefore I get denied. And then
that's
a year or
horrible.
two later, I get a temporary place to stay, and then start the cycle all over again. But this time here, I'm going to tough it out for the winter engaging. I'm trying to get on the top.
Yeah, winter is pretty good here. It's
normally in the fall, I get a job trimming medical marijuana.
Yeah.
And I usually make enough on it. Like sometimes that's how I got the last RV. I did a pretty good season at a trim board, and I made enough to buy an RV. That was going to be my original plan this year, but then they brought this idea of this housing program, the VA housing program up, so I said, well, I got to look at the long term instead of the short term. And so I turned down the trimming jobs this year to try to get permanent housing.
Yeah. Well, me and my husband, I don't know if this would interest you, but me and my husband work for Legal Shield. And it's something that you work for yourself. And,
It's kind of like a